Here's what you missed on Glee.
All my friends are dead and they don't like me anymore. They've moved along, they've changed, and now they find me quite a bore. Way back then it was okay to be a little weird, but all my friends are dead.
Hello and welcome again to 10minutedailyvideo.net, your place for 10minutedailyvideo.net. I'm your host, internet personality Melt Content, and this is another episode of the great gay Glee-Watch. I had a mild revelation before we even get into the episode. Glee doesn't work because it's very teen dramas work when you focus on the teen drama, and I don't think they work when you focus on the adults.
I think you need a new dress.
Especially when they write the adults like they're petty children. Now, is Ryan Murphy trying to say something with how Sue Sylvester behaves, how Will Schuester behaves? Is he saying anything with this? That adults are just big kids? Maybe? But is that subtext? I don't think so. I feel like it's just like top to bottom lazy writing. As I said, I think the core of the problems is just that if there's anything challenging, the writers would just avoid it. But this sub problem is that the adults are written like they're a part of the teen drama, and sometimes it's like super creepy, sometimes it's like goofy, and more times than not, it's stupid and unrealistic. I forgot how much stupid things happen within the first two seasons. Season 1 and season 2 are like really awful shows, and I was like, why did I like this? And every once in a while Sue would make like a kind of an edgy joke, and I think I would laugh at that.
What is she doing here?
Yes, what am I doing here?
And then the stuff with Kurt became interesting.
This is really getting you down, isn't it?
And I think Puck is charming, and I think
I'm not.
I think what I was disenchanted by was episode 4, when Kurt joins the football team, but also comes out to his dad. And I feel like that was really genuinely like well written and well done. I think Mike O'Malley kills it as Kurt's dad. Kurt's dad, Bert, by the way, I think is. But the show is hack writers write the show.
St. Ignatius Nursing Home was having a tag sale.
So I mean, but I'm really like struggling to remember why I like this show, and it has to be Jane Lynch as Sue Sylvester, because she is like legitimately captivating. I hate Will. Sue Sylvester is a monster, but she's like supposed to be a monster. Will Schuester is supposed to be the heart and soul of this show, and he's like a fucking monster. And I don't see why like they write it the way they write it. Like it predicates on people never communicating, right? Like this is like this idea of like nobody in the world has like a conversation frankly. Everything can be misconstrued, and then everyone acts like a child.
I think you need a new dress.
Okay, so anyway, that's my summary of the previous 8 episodes. And I'm picking this episode to talk about because it directly is related to Wicked.
Defying Gravity? I have an iPod Shuffle dedicated exclusively to selections from Wicked.
Don't worry, we'll find something for you to dip in chocolate.
Racist! I hate Will Schuester so much. He makes
We're gonna have to raise money to pay for it ourselves. See, when I was in Glee Club and we needed new silk cummerbunds for regionals, we held a bake sale.
Holy fuck. Great player you got here, Disney.
Let me help you out, buddy.
That young man can walk. They could have hired somebody in a wheelchair, but they didn't. They hired this dick. Okay, so you're not really seeing the brunt of it. This character becomes so fucking vile, and I hate this actor. Might be fine or whatever, or might be a decent person or whatever. This this is like false pathos, right? This is like, oh, this is a layup because people are gonna make fun of him. But I think the real reason is Ryan Murphy has a clutch of wheelchair jokes at his disposal, and he just wants to barf them all out with the vile characters, right? So you get Sue Sylvester, it's calling him half a person. You have other characters that make jokes about him having wheels. This episode is called Wheels, but in my assessment, the only thing I remember about this episode is that Kurt tries to get the solo for Defying Gravity. So, okay, and I didn't even remember that Wheelchair Kid couldn't get on the bus at all. And they named this episode Wheels? What are they thinking? Oh my god. This is gonna be so much of the plot. Oh my god. Okay, so I picked this episode because I thought, all right, it'll be Wicked oriented. Wicked's doing really numbers in the box office. This is actually relevant. And I remember that the main thing in this episode is Kurt singing Defying Gravity. I'm so mad. Okay, go. All right, go.
I'm used to it. They just don't get it.
I'm so mad.
With myself.
I do remember that he did this song. My god, why is Will just here? What a creep.
I want to audition for the Wicked solo.
Kurt, there's a high F in it.
That's well within my range.
Well, I think Rachel's gonna be fine for the female lead. Anyway, I wanted to say something to you guys. I was a little disappointed at how you were all so willing to take the bus together to sectionals and make Artie drive by himself with his dad.
Oh my fucking god, Will Schuester. Wow. You can't see that you actually hurt Kurt's feelings there. He didn't ask to have it. He asked to audition it. And you dismiss him outright. And you're concerned that they're not concerned enough about Wheelchair Kid. Not even a really disabled person.
And my AV club friends here agreed to help out. For the next week, each of you is going to spend 3 hours a day in a wheelchair.
I forgot. Oh my fucking... What's the lesson? Okay, so this is the beginning of the where does this come from questions. So like later in the season, they get like a whole disco floor that's actually there. There's like this huge wall of light bulbs that like changes patterns and like can spell words and crap. And at the same time, they need to do a bake sale to get... So, okay, you're telling me, Will Schuester, let's do a count. There's literally 11 wheelchairs. Will Schuester, I heard how much the bus costs. Costs something like $600 to rent. That number of wheelchairs costs more money, okay, than the bus rental. If you care so much, Will Schuester, maybe the money was better spent not teaching the children a fucking lesson. How is this how was this ever a show? How was this a show for 6 whole seasons? He doesn't even need a wheelchair for real though.
I told you before, I don't care if that baby comes out with a mohawk. I will go to my graves wearing its fins.
It would be pretty awesome if it came out with a mohawk.
Okay, he's legitimately charming. You have to admit, right? He's so good. Like Quinn's whatever. She's a fine actress. Whatever. It's fine. He's really legitimately charming. He's a pretty funny bully. He's a better bully turned good guy. I don't know. I there's things about this show that I think are legitimately good, and Puckerman was always good. Rest in power, my dude. Jeez.
Isn't there more crossover nowadays? You know, chicks doing construction, guys wearing dress shoes with no socks. Didn't that girl from your high school just join the boys' wrestling team?
Right? Oh my gosh, by the way, look, a lady on the wrestling team? Oh Christ, did anyone tell Tim Pool?
Wait,
Don't try to backpedal on this, Schuester.
I was just going to agree with you.
Like, okay, the very clear A story. Listen, All right, you're in the writer's room, okay? You have Mike O'Malley, like, just trying to reach boomers, right? And Gen X, like, trying to reach the demo to explain to them, like, that this gender stuff isn't that important. So you got your obvious A story, right? Kurt and this defying gravity thing. And your A story is this fucking wheelie bullshit? This is B-plot. B-plot. This is B-plot 101. You don't name the episode after this piece of shit B-plot.
This isn't going to be about talent, Mr. Schuster. It's going to be a popularity contest.
Stop right there. Mr. Shu, if I may. We all know I'm more popular than Rachel. Raise your right hand. Your right hand, Brittany.
Sorry.
I'm a big enough man to admit that Kurt in that wheelchair is a funny enough bit to include the wheelchairs. I'm man enough to admit that. But it should be called this episode should be called Defying Gravity. It's crazy. And also, why am I not getting more of this? I thought this is what Glee was supposed to be about. Was about music competition and music and like aren't they always talking about going to regionals? Isn't regionals a competition? Look, all right, I'm saying B-plot. I'm not saying remove the plot, okay? I think it's a little stupid. I think it's insane that they got this many brand new wheelchairs. They always have like a throwaway line.
St. Ignatius Nursing Home was having a tag sale.
Legitimately, for the bit, this whole bit was so funny that it was worth it. But again, I just would have wanted Kurt to just do bits. I just want, like, that little section could be extended to the A plot.
Maybe one of these days you'll find a way to create teaching moments without ruining my life.
Rachel, you're the only one whose life deserves to be ruined. You know what actually would be funny here is if Rachel was put into a wheelchair for real. Like, this would actually be a really funny, dark joke. This whole her awkwardly leaving in a wheelchair. That would be a funny joke if it mattered that she's in a wheelchair.
Becky, I'm going to stop you right there. You're in.
What are you up to, Sue?
I do actually like, wow, this episode, everything about this episode is good except Will Schuster's fucking wheelchair experiment. Holy shit. I forgot that this was a part of this episode. Her having Becky on her Cheerios is like a huge turning point. So Sue Sylvester becomes much more of a developed character because what's funny about this is Will shows off how awful he is.
Be nice, Sue.
Because he doesn't know that Sue has a motivation to, like, want to teach this particular person because her sister has the same affliction. Affliction? Is that fair to say? I'm not sure how to say this. Her sister is disabled the same way Becky is, right? But, like, I forgot that this was in this episode, too. This is crazy. The wheelchair thing is garbage, and it's the A plot. The episode is named after it, but it's stuffed with other stuff that's actually interesting for the show. Crazy. They have no idea what they were doing.
Just saying.
Hit him, Puck! Fuck yeah! I hate Finn.
How did it happen? You don't talk about it.
My mom and I got in a really bad car accident when I was 8. And she was fine, but I've been in the chair ever since. But I want to be very clear. I still have the use of my penis.
I hate this. I hate this. I hate this fucking show. I hate it.
I hit it. The high F. The magical note I need for defying gravity. I hit it. Means I'm gonna win.
That's great. It's good for you. Just how long until the damn coffee's ready?
What's going on?
I got a phone call this morning. The anonymous kind. It was some dude telling me my son was a fag. Now look, Kurt, I try to do right by you, you know, open some doors. You know, what father wouldn't do that for his kid? And I know it's good for you to be out there with all this Glee Club stuff. I don't want you to get hurt. sometimes I wish your mom was still around, you know? But congrats on, the Kool-Aid or the High C or whatever it was.
High F.
Yeah.
This is a mean trick. This show is a mean trick. They get good actors to elicit real pathos, and they surround it with vapid assholes, racism, bigotry, sexism. Great job, Mike O'Malley. You sell it, man.
Yeah, no, sure.
Hey, Santana.
Sue, you are unbelievable.
And you are a terrible spy. You might try breathing through your nose sometime.
Hey, Dad. What are you doing?
I'm making biscuits. What does it look like I'm doing? How'd the tryout go?
They gave the part to Rachel.
I knew they were gonna rig it.
I blew the note. I wanted to lose. I've known who I was since I was 5. And at the end of the day, it's what's going to get me out of this cow town. You never had to do that.
I can handle myself just fine.
No, you can't. When I saw you, right after you got the call, and you were so hurt and so upset, it just killed me. I'm proud of who I am. I'm just saying that I love you more than I love being a star.
This is one of those where I'm like, the showrunners had some really interesting ideas, especially for the time, and they push those to the limits in season 2, and then they don't know what to do with Kurt after that. They write this Artie character to be completely worthless. They could have hired any person who was actually in a wheelchair. They didn't want to deal with that, obviously. They have like a dreams, like the payoff, by the way, is one time he has a dream sequence where he gets up and dances. It's awful. He's not even very good. The actor's a miserable. I don't know if he's a real bad person in real life. I don't want to be too hard on the guy, but this character, they write this character to be a chauvinistic, small-minded prick. All right, like and subscribe. More episodes about stuff in the future and blah, blah, blah. Bye.